Hey guys, it's your girl Miss G. You know what time it is. It's G time. It's time to get up, get active, and get it together. My purpose is to give advice, encourage change, and empower success. The goal is to grow, elevate, and excel together. You have the power to create change. I am back and we are continuing to talk about communication skills and the importance of using effective and healthy communication. I started by talking about the different type of communication styles that we use. We talked about being a passive communicator, being an aggressive communicator, and being an assertive communicator. And that should be the goal. The goal should be to be an assertive communicator because being assertive is found to be the most effective way of communication. Healthy communication helps to build relationships and any kind of relationship, not just relationships with your family and your friends, but your work relationships, your business relationships. Being an effective communicator will increase positive outcomes in every situation. So today we're going to work on ways to increase assertive communication. And again, I want to stress the importance of communication. Communication brings people together, it brings people closer. Communication is the key to any healthy relationship. If we can't communicate with one another, then we are not on the same page. Years ago, I was certified as a parenting instructor, and it was one of my most rewarding jobs. I really love being a parenting instructor because one, I'm a parent, right? And even though there's a lot of books on parenting and you have a lot of people in your life who can help you with being a parent, there is no one way to parent. There's no cookie cutter approach to parenting. You kind of learn by trial and error. You learn by your mistakes. I always say that my last child and my first child, they were raised differently. I had my first child at 19 years old. I was a child myself. So the way I parent him versus the way I parent my last child, the baby of the group, is different because I learned more. I grew more. I started to understand things differently. As a first time parent, we do things different than we do the second child and the third child and so on. You learn every step of the way. With each child, um, your skills increase. You start to understand things a little differently, right? You know, the first child, you bought everything. You wanted this, you wanted the wipe warmer, you wanted the bottle warmer, or you breastfed. There were just things you did differently with your first child. And then the second child, you knew what you liked, you knew what you didn't like, you knew what worked best. Communication, the more you practice, the more you grow, just like in parenting. So when I started teaching parenting, it was so important to me to help others understand ways for them to grow in their family. Everything that you learn and everything that you hear may not apply to you, but you can take something from what you're learning, something from what you're hearing, and apply it to your day to day. And the most important lesson in parenting that I learned, and the most important lesson in the book, was communication. How we communicate with our children is so important. We teach them communication skills by what we do, what we say, how we act. They are products of us, right? They see what we're doing. If we're communicating unhealthy, then they communicate unhealthy. If we're yelling and screaming, they're yelling and screaming. If we're cussing and throwing things and we get easily frustrated, they're cussing and throwing things and easily frustrated. If you don't think so, ask their teacher, right? You're getting calls left and right from school because somebody didn't cuss somebody out in school, and you're like, where you learn to cuss? Duh. They're hearing it somewhere. Communication, not just verbal, but non-verbal communication is important too. So, this book right here, Breakthrough Parenting, by Jane A. Major, PhD. This is one of my favorite books. This is what I was certified in parenting as a parenting instructor. And I learned so much from Breakthrough Parenting. The most important chapter was chapter 6, and it was communication. And I still to this day utilize the skills that I've learned in this book to help other people increase their communication skills. This book describes communication as a dance, and it says um, communication is like a dance. Communication is not just words. People go back and forth with giving and receiving information. So, throughout this journey of communication, I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk about ways to increase assertive communication, I statements, receptive listening, and really just give you some healthy tools and techniques so that you can increase your communication skills. I hope you enjoy. I'll be back and we'll be talking about I statements, how to use I statements. Okay, I am back. Just took a break so that I can get some paperwork put together so that we can talk about how to use I statements. Good verbal and written communication skills are essential in order to deliver and understand information quickly and accurately. So, what I wanted to first start with is I statements. You may say, what are I statements? When a person feels that they are being blamed, whether rightly or wrongly, it's common that they respond in a defense type of response. It's very defensive. Have you ever said something to someone and their response was really defensive? We call that, um, um, well, we will say that there's an accusatory you. When telling someone something, they heard the you and they got really defensive. So a way to reduce that is to use I statements. I statements are a simple way of speaking that will help people avoid reducing the other person feeling as though they're being blamed in what's being said. Okay, so I'm going to give you the formula of utilizing an I statement. When a person feel like they're being blamed, they become defensive. So this is how you should use I statements. I statements simply start like this: I feel, because, or I feel about, because. And what you want to do is the I am. After you say I am, you will now say the feeling. So I am frustrated. So you have to decide, what am I feeling right now when I heard what you said? Was I angry? Was I hurt? Was I upset? What did you feel when someone was speaking to you? Or how do you feel about the situation? I feel frustrated about. That means you have to say the situation, about the house not being clean, about trash being on the floor, about not spending enough time with you. What is the situation? And then because, and the reason behind it. So I'm going to read you an example, okay? I feel I feel worried about how you're playing with that stick because I don't want you to get hurt. When we use the I feel, I was using that example as though you're talking to a child. You're talking to your child. I feel worried when you play with that stick because I am afraid you'll get hurt. So you put the I, you're being responsible for how you feel about the situation instead of just saying, put that stick down because you're going to hurt yourself. What type of response are you going to get? But mom, we're not trying to go back and forth. You're simply stating what it is, and you're avoiding that back talk. You're avoiding the defensiveness in the conversation. There are a few I statements where you can simply just say what it is that's happening to get a better result. One that I've learned, my son is responsible for taking out the trash. And instead of me saying, how come you didn't take out the trash? The trash needs to be taken out and you didn't take out the trash. I already know I'm going to get some backlash. I'm going to get some back talk. So what I started saying is, I've noticed that the trash hasn't been taken out. I'm just simply saying what I've noticed, and the person who's responsible for taking out the trash knows that I'm talking to him. So in that, I get more cooperation without me using the accusatory you or coming across aggressive in my tone. I'm being very assertive. I notice that the trash hasn't been taken out. Then I get a little bit more accurate. When utilizing effective communication skills, the the solution is to avoid power struggles. Going through a power struggle with the person you're trying to communicate with becomes very frustrating. I don't want to have to fight for everything that we talk about. I don't want to have to fight every time we talk. So how can we talk without always getting into some type of struggle? What we say is I statements. Utilizing I statements will help avoid those power struggles. I suggest that you Google it. You can go to Google, type in I statements, and it'll give you the same formula that I gave you. I am the feeling about the situation because the reason. And it will give you some ways to practice I statements. You don't want to come across blaming. You don't want to come across accusing the other person of something. You want them to be able to hear what you're saying. And the most effective way that we have learned is by utilizing I statements. So I suggest that you go to any site. My favorite site is therapista.com because they have worksheets where you can practice using I statements. They'll give you a scenario, and then you put that I statement together so that you can start practicing ways to use it. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you use the skills that we talked about today. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and leave some feedback, and I'll be more than happy to respond and to give you the links to where I get my information and the things that I've learned. Okay, so today we talked about breakthrough parenting, communication, and I also utilize therapista.com. Healthy communication will improve your healthy relationships with others and give you more positive outcomes. I'll be back to talk about receptive communication and ways to reduce arguing with others by using effective communication skills. I hope that you enjoyed. Remember, you have the power to create change.